So welcome everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening. We are so excited to be sharing this with you this evening. We absolutely love Seesaw, and we are so happy to be sharing this information with you tonight, and we really are eager to get started. So wanted to just start off by telling you a little bit about us. My name is Ellen Burns. I'm a reading specialist at Cedar Elementary School. I am Orton Gillingham certified educator, a Google trainer, and a Seesaw ambassador. I've been at Cedar for 17 years and really am thrilled to be sharing this information with you. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about Mindy Anderson. She has been my inspiration as I've learned so much about Seesaw and Google through her, and she is also a Seesaw ambassador, and she is a first grade teacher. She has also been at Cedar for 17 years. And in addition, tonight we have Anastasia Frank. Anastasia is a reading specialist with me at Cedar Elementary. She is also a speech and language pathologist. She is Orton Gillingham certified, and she is a Seesaw pioneer. So as we go through this evening, please feel free to put any questions that you have in the question and answer section. We are going to try to answer as many questions as we can this evening. If there is something that we don't get to, please know we'll reach out to you and get you the information that you need. If you are joining us this evening and you are one of our preschool parents, we're so excited to have you here. We are going to be sharing more information with preschool as the next few weeks start to roll out, so you can be on the lookout. Know that this is really an introductory to, for you to what maybe Seesaw looks like, but you'll get more information as time goes on. So we wanted to share a little bit about our story. Reaching our students, whether at school or from a distance, is really important to us. And that's why Seesaw really stood out to us. We want to be there for our students. We need to be there for our students, and we need to capture their learning. And with Seesaw, our students become active participants in developing ownership of what they are learning and what they're doing. And Seesaw is connecting us. It's connecting us in so many ways. It's beyond the classroom, and we're able to get into the homes across Hanover. And this was such a huge thing for us as we reflected on a lot of the things moving forward that we wanted to do come fall. And this is all new to all of us. We're all learning together, and we really appreciate you jumping in here tonight, learning along with us. Seesaw is just a great tool for our little ones. Really, it gives them an opportunity to connect with something that they can show what they're doing and what they're learning at home and share that with their teachers. And it's starting to build their independence, and we're starting to build that digital citizenship and working on that in our classrooms. And as time rolls out, we can start to even move beyond, Seesaw with some of our older students as they begin to get ready to move on through their grades. But the ease of using Seesaw for our little friends, the ability for them to share with us is just amazing, the things they can accomplish by using this tool. So we're really, really excited. We've seen, videos of our friends at home on Wednesdays dancing and making musical instruments and checking the weather and reporting back to us. And it's just such a great tool to be able to communicate in doing activities even, beyond beyond looking at the computer within Seesaw, but being able to create their own Play-Doh and, you know, create sculptures of their names and do all kinds of really wonderful, fun things. So we're very excited. I think the thing that stood out to me most with Seesaw was, you know, last spring, was being able to be connected to my students. I remember watching one of my little students read read a passage through Seesaw, and every once in a while he'd look over at the screen and check the video camera and wave hello to me, or just make sure that, you know, in his mind I was still watching and, you know, cheering him on. And with Seesaw, I can connect back to him and send him a message, or one of my students a message, and just let them know, you know, how proud we really are of all the hard work that they're doing. And we all have kind of those stories that just, you know, took us, you know, and captured our heart when we got to experience it that last year. So I know, Mindy, you also had some times where you were able to connect.
Sure, and I just want to acknowledge we all have our Seesaw t-shirts on tonight, so we all love Seesaw. So I love Seesaw. I've loved it since I started using it the first day, and what I love is this is my 4th year using it, and it keeps evolving to maximize student learning and family engagement and student engagement. So for me, I always thought it was amazing, but last spring when we went remote, I found that it almost made remote learning not seem so remote because of the connection that I had between the students. It made that lifeline just so essential when I was at home and they were at home. And yes, they were getting all the academics they needed, but it was really that social emotional connection that I feel like became so essential and allowed this to allowed their learning to grow and allowed them to stay engaged and motivated.
Mindy, I can so relate to that. I think in my experience, Seesaw provides another avenue for the child to express themselves. So you might have a seemingly quiet student who is reluctant to speak in class, who is generally very shy and avoids to be in the spotlight. But given the opportunity, they will be one of the first ones to post a response on Seesaw, record their voice, or post a video of them dancing around, which we've seen a lot, responding to a story or reading a story. So I've witnessed how this has built their confidence and gives them a voice or another opportunity to express themselves and show their thinking.
So we wanted to share this little video. I think as a parent myself, I don't always stop and think about all the learning that kids are already doing at home. And I feel like Seesaw is just another tool actually an amazing tool that helps the kids continue to ignite that learning and enhance that new learning at home. So we just wanted to share this small video.
Is it gonna be a good day? Say, I am respectful.
I am respectful.
Yeah.
So it just really just stresses that whole connection, that loop between families, students, and parents. So our plan for tonight is to talk to you guys about why we're choosing Seesaw as our learning platform at Cedar, to go over features for learners, features for families, make sure we're answering any of those frequently asked questions, and then talk a little bit about Lexia, which is a reading program, an online reading program we use that can also be accessed and linked through Seesaw.
So how does it work? So Seesaw is the gateway to unlocking a treasure trove of learning. Your student will have their own special journal set up in their class. This will provide them with an opportunity to showcase their work. They'll be able to take pictures, videos, drawings, notes, upload and link all kinds of wonderful work samples. It gives meaning to the work they do and allows our community to celebrate the accomplishment along with them. And by a community means school community and home community as well. So Seesaw creates a powerful learning loop between the students, teachers, and families. For example, when students post their work on Seesaw, they have an opportunity to capture their learning in a digital portfolio. Teachers, on the other hand, have an insight into the students' thinking and progress on certain skills or tasks that allows teachers to adjust their instruction and where it's needed. Now, parents get a snapshot of the student's day by looking at their work and have a better understanding of what is happening at the school. And it's all done in a real time. Having that window into the child's time at school creates a bridge for a dinner conversation about their day. For example, you might ask a more concrete question. I saw what you posted this morning in your journal. Can you tell me a little bit more about this? Versus one of those very open-ended, sometimes dreaded for children questions. How was your day? I'm sure you can all relate how most of the time we don't really get a lot of information from them. Mm-hmm. So we're hoping that this tool will allow you to have those more meaningful conversations at dinner time or on the ride somewhere to sports and really connecting with your children.
So what are some of the benefits of Seesaw? Well, for our students, you know, they have an opportunity to showcase their work and share their pride in what they've done. And they have opportunities to collaborate with their fellow classmates. It gives our students a voice. You know, I've seen videos and listened to audio clips that they've sent back in Seesaw where they're sharing things with their teachers and really expressing their feelings. You know, when Mindy was talking about that social emotional piece, sharing some things with their teachers, talking about how happy they are to be back in school. You know, is once they get used to it, and you know, our little ones, they get used to things much faster than we do. They're so proficient. They're showing us what we need to do, and so the tools and things like that, they're things that they've seen in other apps. So it is something that they can move into fairly quickly and easily. And again, when I go back to that, developing that digital citizenship, you know, in understanding those underlying skills of replying to someone in their class and talking about sharing things with each other, whether it be a special, you know, story they're writing or something that they've read, and being able to share in those experiences with each other. For families, you know, in Seesaw, and many of you have probably already seen, you get those notifications, you're getting an email, you can go out to your family app, and Mindy's going to talk a little more about that, and see some of those communications that are going between your teachers. Not only the teachers, but our administrators can share announcements, send notifications. You can add up to 10 family members to that family app, so that if there is a need for additional support, you can also share in that success with family members too. And the students get to share with you. As Anastasia was mentioning, you know, it's nice to have a point of conversation to start something with your children, and talk about their journals and talk about some of the special things that they've done. You know, I go back to conferences, when we would go through conferences at school, and one of the things that the kids always looked forward to was getting their note from their parents and having it slipped inside their desk. So through the family app, you can communicate with your child and share in those successes, and you can't even begin to imagine the joy that it brings to them to see a comment from you. For teachers, you know, it connects us with our students even when we don't feel like we're right there. It gives us that opportunity to connect with them. And it connects us in ways that, you know, they can share things with us with Seesaw that they may have been shy to share in class. It supports student learning. We can differentiate for our students and really meet them where they are, where we need to be. It provides a whole list of their accomplishments for us so we can monitor their progress, and we can help support their independence by helping them develop these skills that are so critical as they start to move forward. And we can celebrate with them, and we can celebrate as a community together with you as well.
So I'm going to talk to everybody about the family app versus the class app, which the kids are using at home with their home learning code. So one of the reasons we chose Seesaw is because it actually provides everything we need for families and for students. So the family app, which you can either download on your smart device or you can go right to the Seesaw website, is for the adult family members. And so that's for you guys to receive announcements, newsletters, and information from your teachers or from your principals for you to see. You can also message with teachers, and this is 100% private. So if you're responding to a class announcement or to a teacher message, it only goes to the teacher. You're also, as Ellen mentioned, you can view and comment on your child's work. And what I love about this is it's in real time. So I could have a student working on something in their Seesaw journal. They post it to their journal, and then all of a sudden they already see a family member's comment. And it's just so motivating and exciting for children. When you're viewing your child's work, you can only see your child's work. And there's also a blog that sometimes classrooms enable as the year goes on. So you'd have that access as well. So with the class app, again, you can get the class app by downloading it on your smart device or by going to that same website, the seesaw.me website. Your child would just click on I'm a student, and they would get all the same access that they get at school. So they can post to their journal, they can complete activities, they can view announcements from their principal and teachers and go into the blog. And again, they only see their own work when they're at home. So I'm going to talk to you about the features that we have for learners. So again, I just want to remind families that students can access anything from school by using that class app, and they just have to log in with that home learning code. And if for some reason you need another copy of either the family invite or the home learning code, you can always contact your child's teacher. One little thing that might be helpful, I don't know if you noticed, but so at school, we're constantly having to log out to give other friends a turn on the iPads. So at home, you don't actually have to do that. So if you stay logged in, then you won't have to keep typing in your child's home learning code, but they might be automatically trained to log out because they log out at school. So the journal feature is amazing. It's a place for the kids to showcase their learning. And I love that it's really a cumulative collection of all their best work. Anytime students create in their journal, anything that gets submitted always gets approved by the teacher first. So teachers always get a first look at it before it gets put into their journal. And again, teachers and families right underneath the post can give feedback. And you can give feedback by typing in a message or by clicking on the comment. There's also an audio component, which is amazing because the kids get to hear their family's voice. Just like they love hearing their teacher's voice at home, they love hearing a family member's voice at school. It just lights up their face and makes them so motivated and excited when they know somebody is looking at their work in real time. So one thing I love about Seesaw is how open-ended it is. So I call this green plus, like the power of the green plus, because it's really giving the kids the freedom to be creative and to put learning in their own hands. So when they click on that plus in the classroom, they can take pictures, they can create drawings, they can make videos. I even had a first grade friend today send me a note about being a great listener. So the possibilities are endless. And I think they also think of things that, like Ellen had said, things that teachers don't even think of. They come up with creative ways, which I think is pretty amazing. One thing I did want to say is sometimes I was sharing that my daughter also uses Seesaw. She's a second grader, and I came down and I was peeking inside her journal, and I think they get so excited to share with their teacher. I think I found like 5 2-minute videos that she made for her teacher. So I talked to her about how I love that she wants to send her teacher all these messages, but as parents, we also have to make sure we're monitoring what kind of work gets put into their journal. I try to explain that we're showing off our best work that we keep and collect in our journal. So another feature of Seesaw is the activities feature. So this is an area where teachers can actually assign activities. So students, when they're on their feed, can access activities by going to the activities tab. We call it the light bulb at school. And what I love is it gives them a to-do list of things they have to do, things that they're in progress or in process of doing, and things that are finished. And I like that because it's building responsibility at a young age. And so this is something we're practicing right now, but you will be amazed at the growth you'll see from now to the end of the year. And I think Seesaw is going to be capturing all that learning in the journal and watching the kids become more and more independent. I'm sure that your kids have told you that they know they have to hit that green check in the corner to make sure that their work is saved. And just like journal, any activity is always approved by a teacher before it goes into journal. So once they click on an activity, this is just a snapshot of an example. There's always directions. Many times teachers give audio directions as well, which is great for our young learners. And the kids have gotten really good at knowing that they need to add a response. Once the activity is open at the very, very top, you can, your child can view the directions as many times as they need to. And what I love about this is there's the same features that are in that journal with that green plus over here on the left-hand side. So the kids have learned they can type, they can record with a microphone, they can click on the camera and take a picture or a video. And they've even gone into like the fancy stuff in the green dots where they can change the background and add shapes. So they're learning so much in Seesaw. I did want to show you that in the upper right-hand corner, there is a draft feature. So if ever you're in the middle of doing something and you need to finish it later, you can click draft and it will save your progress. And one thing I also wanted to mention is that Seesaw allows us to differentiate and assign different activities based on the needs of our students, which is great. So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. We can really think about what the learner needs and tailor the activities to the student. So I'm going to just take you a minute just to show you in a student feed what that looks like. So I'm going to just share my screen. Okay, so this is a view of what your child's journal looks like. So again, this is their feed. This is all of their work right here. And it always starts with the most recent work on the top. So they access this just by clicking on journal over here on the right-hand side. This is the activities feed, again, that light bulb area where they can click to see their activities. I know many teachers are using the Wednesday workboard, and that is a great tool because it basically is a shortcut so that the kids don't have to go into activities and find everything. They can just access everything right on that workboard by clicking on the link. And then they also have an inbox, which we're just starting to teach them about, and their inbox is just like your inbox. They can actually see class messages from their teachers, and they can see school announcements from Mr. Oates and other teachers and Mrs. McLaughlin and whatnot. So that's something we're going to be working on and doing more with, but I just wanted to give you a chance to see the view from the child. So we just wanted to take a minute to share some student examples. So this is actually an example from one of the students I had last year during remote learning, and they were asked to share, it was the same and different activity. And so they had to think about how the shapes or how the objects in front of them were the same and how they were different. And they had the option to write, they could video, or they can record their thinking.
Hi, Mrs. A. I'm going to tell you what doesn't belong. The sandwich doesn't belong because it's triangle. And the other one that doesn't belong is the button because it's not a food. Bye, Mrs. A. Hope we can see you soon.
So again, it's giving the kids options to have higher level thinking and then expressing it in the way that works best for them. And again, you can see that teacher-student connection. This is another example of a student. We do a poem of the week in first grade, and the children are, they actually record, they have a little poem of the week journal that they keep their poems in and they illustrate. And this is a child reading her poem, and you really need to listen to the reading and how when kids listen to their reading, how it's just truly amazing what they can learn.
Five little turkeys. Five little turkeys sitting in the hay. The first one exclaimed, "It's Thanksgiving Day." The second one asked, "What's that I spy?" The third one cheered, "It's pumpkin pie." The fourth one said, "Oh, what a treat." The fifth turkey shouted, "Let's eat, let's eat." Then they went to the table with a wobble, 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 and they ate their pie with a gobble, gobble, gobble.
Mindy, I love this example. I think this is such a great example of how students use all the modalities, such as speaking and listening and reading and writing to show their skills. It really gives an insight into the oral reading fluency skills, which is also another important part of our reading instruction. So we were going to pause here for a second to check to see if we have any questions. It seems like we don't have any burning questions right now, but just wanted to remind everyone, if you have something, if you wanted to ask us, please type them into Q&A portion of the webinar, and we will answer them at the end of our presentation.
All right, we'll keep going.
Yes.
So as Mindy mentioned, we have the family app for you as well. So she's gone through the class app. Now we're going to just talk a little bit about the family app. And this is something that's just for families. It's just for you. It's a special tool for you to use to be able to communicate with your child's teacher. So I want to take a look at some of the features that you'll find. So of course, as Mindy has explained, this app is different than going into your child's class app. So when you pull it up, you'll see that you have, your view looks very different than what they're going to look like when they get their activities on Wednesdays. So what's great about this feature is it's one place for you to go and see everything, that you can view your child's work and you can comment on the work. And we talked about how much the kids love to have those comments. And if you look over here, when you open up your child's, or your family app, I should say, you can see up here you have your inbox, and that's notifying you that your child has some work that they shared. And you have your journal in the middle, and I'm going to show you sort of what that looks like as well. And then you also have an inbox where you'll find announcements that have been sent by the teacher to families. You could find announcements that have been sent by Mr. Oates or Mrs. McLaughlin out to families. So this is a really special tool that we can use to share and send information back and forth to you. So as you can see right here, we have the inbox, which is one of the tools that you'll be able to use. And this is where you can get messages and notifications, like I said. And one thing I want to point out about the inbox is when you're messaging back and forth with the teacher, that's private. So it almost looks like, to me, it's just like texts back and forth on the phone. But if you needed to send those quick messages back and forth, you can using this feature within the family app, and it is private. You also see, you'd see in your notification in your email that the student has posted something to their class journal. And right here, you also see, like, this is where we would find you have 2 new posts into this journal. So I'm just going to show you a little bit about what that looks like. So here is my my class that my mock-up class. So here I have, you know, again, I'm logged in, and right here it's showing that a family member. And here is my home tab, and it's showing me this is where my child's work is. And this is where I can go in and comment. I can click right here, and I can add in my comment and say, you know, great job. And then or if I don't want to type something in, I can also go back here, and I can use this button to record something and send it back to my child. This is the journal tab. So when you open up your journal tab, you'll see that you have a student here. In this, if you have more than one child, they'll all show up here. So you just click on the one that you know, the student whose child's journal you're looking at. And then right here, it'll bring you to which class do you want to go to. And I'm going to go to this class. And then I'll see all the work that my child's done for the year. And then you also, again, have that inbox. And I just have some notices in here. These are notices that were sent out to you earlier this week. And then here are some messages just to show you in my mock-up class. This is where you would kind of go back and forth and be able to send a message to to your child's teacher, and you would click down here in the bottom, and you can just say, you know, whatever message, you just type it in right down here. And then you click send, and it will go off to your child's teacher. So those are some of the great features about being able to use the Family app and being able to use that as a great communication tool with your teacher. And you can download the app, you can get it on Google Play, or you can just from your computer log into seesaw.me and go in as a family member. And let's see. So again, just staying connected, and that's what this is all about. And this is why Seesaw is just so amazing. You can view your child's journal and, you know, get a snapshot of their daily learning. Comment on your child's work. It really is so motivating. I go back to those little conference notes and seeing my students the next day, knowing that usually their parent, when they're there the night before I leave or open house, they leave a little note inside their child's desk. You know, this is just like that. It's being able to connect with them and reassure them as we continue to move forward this year. And you know, check that inbox for any teacher messages or any class or student announcements.
Ellen, there was a couple questions in the chat, and I just thought maybe I wanted to answer. One question was if they wanted another family member to have access to the code. So what we could do is either have your child's teacher could either just send the invite if you happen to misplace it. We can actually just send you a message in Seesaw with that information, or just send home another hard copy so that you can then invite another family member. So just reach out to your child's teacher for that information. That is very easily done, but unfortunately that's not something you can get on your own without the classroom teacher. And then there was a great question just about if there's a way for the kids to check off the work as they go. So I had shared on my screen, and I'm happy to share again. Actually, Ellen, do you mind if I share? Okay.
There you go.
Just to show families, I think that's a great idea to have building that independence. So if they're in activities, this is almost like a little checklist for them. So underneath the activities tab, it tells them if you click here, these are the activities you have to do. if you had activities that were in progress, which I don't have any right now, they would show up here. And then if you click on all the work that you've done, it will show up here. So that's a little checklist that the kids can use. The other thing you can do, if you have a home learning board, if you open it up, they could also just take the drawing tool and just check things off as they go. So those are just a couple options for checking off work and keeping track of work.
I love the idea of being, them being able to go in and check off as they go along and do each one of the activities. So was there anything, we ready to?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I just wanted to just share this with you. One of the most accurate predictors of student success is the extent to which families are involved in their child's learning and support it at home. This quote came from our Seesaw Ambassador training, and we just felt like it was so powerful and really speaks to this tool and how we feel and why we just love this product so much. It really does show that learning loop. It shows how important the connections are with our students, with our families, and with our teachers. And when we have that and we're able to do these things together, there's just the power in that is astronomical in terms of helping our students as they continue to grow as learners. And we continue to move forward this year. So I really do think it's such a powerful tool.
So if Seesaw wasn't amazing enough, it actually also allows us to do a lot of linking. So we can link websites, we can link apps right into Seesaw. And to me, that's getting learning simplified. So we want to make it simple for families and for children to access. So we just love that we are able to do that and that it interfaces with so many different apps and we can connect children to so many different valuable websites. And I just feel like it gives them the opportunity to create. And we just want to make more and more opportunities for this to happen. And Seesaw is a great tool to use for those things.
So I just wanted to pause here for another moment, see if there are any other questions at this time. Anastasia, do you see?
Yep, I am looking at it right now. It says, how do we check off work if there isn't done button? For example, some of the social emotional learning or music may not have a done button at times.
So sometimes I know that some of the specialists are, they're just sending out videos and then you can submit. And I think the reason is, I think some of the teachers are just choosing to have the kids do it on their own work. I know that today in art, the kids had to make a self-portrait. And so I just had kids taking pictures of the self-portrait that they made and they posted it in Seesaw. That's actually a great question. I think that different teachers are using it in different ways. So I hope I'm answering the question the way that it was asked.
It's absolutely. And I think also one thing to consider too is we're in this with you and we're learning it with you. So these are great ideas also for us to share. But we're all getting used to using this and we're all in that learning mode along with you and I feel like we're discovering something new every day that we love about Seesaw and we're getting more and more ideas. So thank you for that.
I think this is it about questions so far. So I just actually wanted at the end of, nearing the end of our presentation, wanted to take a few minutes of your time to talk about Lexia, which will be one of the programs that will be linked through Seesaw that we will be rolling out to our students in the near future. Some of you might be familiar with Lexia. If you students were in kindergarten last year, we rolled it out in the spring during the closure, and we got a great feedback from parents and teachers as well that love this online reading program. So it's a web-based computer program designed to improve literacy skills. It supports classroom curriculum with a focus on key reading skills such as phonemic awareness, phonics, vocabulary, fluency, and comprehension. It's independent and personal learning pathway, so it's adaptive to the student's learning style, and the teachers can monitor the progress and then support the areas of difficulty that have been identified through this program. So the teachers will be sending out this information in the near future. You will be getting a letter that explains to you how to log into Lexia, and there's many different ways you can do that. You can go through lexia.com, which is going to be linked into your Seesaw, and log in this way using a Lexia login or a Clever login badge. So be on the lookout for a login information on Seesaw, on Lexia in the near future from your teacher. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is that how you can use it at home. So it's again a valuable program that the students will be exposed to in school, and you can reinforce that at home, and they can work on it on their own. So maybe finding a quiet space to work away from distractions will be beneficial for your child. You can use headphones, but it's not required, and choose a time of the day when they're not too tired, because again, it has an instructional component to it. We do want to point out that you do not want to help your child. Because this program is adaptive, that if your child is struggling on a specific skill, it reteaches the concept of the skill and progresses them at their own pace. And if your child is struggling with that particular activity, you may say just a different one from the menu of choices that your child will have access to, and provide that feedback to your teacher so then they can provide additional support. So when they're in the activity that they might be struggling, do you see how on the bottom it has a progress bar? It's kind of this green bar that's halfway filled. If they're in their first activity on the Seesaw, you want to make sure that the child fills that bar to the end before they exit that particular game or that particular program before choosing another option. So that way it really saves their work and provides the teacher the necessary feedback. But again, you will have many of different activities, and a lot of our students are very proficient in Lexia and can be very independent on it. So I hope, again, you will be getting more information on how to access it and log it in and how to use it at home.
This is just some additional resources for families. So all these are live links that you can click on. I know that we have preschool that will be joining Seesaw, and you'll get some information, but this is just a spot where families can go if they feel like they need a little extra information. We just want you guys to know we're here to make learning successful for families and for students. So anything that we can do to support you at home, please don't hesitate to reach out to your classroom teacher or to us. We are here to help, and we just want this tool to be used to its potential, and we love any feedback. So we encourage you to reach out, like I said, to your teachers or to us.
And there will be the slideshow will be available on the website. So you'll be able to go back and you'll be able to access these links. So this will be shared with you. So that really wraps up all about Seesaw for the evening. We really appreciate everybody coming tonight. If there's any other questions, Anastasia, out there that before we go?
So right now there aren't any new questions, but I say we stay for maybe another minute, and if parents have any questions that come to them at the last minute, feel free to use, again, the Q&A button to post something in there. So we'll stay on for maybe another minute to answer any lingering questions you might have.
Thank you again.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
It really has. And we hope as time goes on, you'll see all the great things that you'll be able to share with your child this year, both in and out of school.
I have to say there's a few parents who have provided very positive feedback and thanking us, as well as really impressed with the Seesaw and how we've been using it. So thank you for your positive feedback. It means a lot to us.
Yes, thank you. Well, I'm glad that the weather held off for us tonight. We were a little bit nervous as we were starting to get ready. This storm was rolling right through my neighborhood, and I was keeping my fingers crossed that we wouldn't have any power outages or anything like that. So thankfully, we were able to share all this information. I'm glad that the weather held off for us.
Absolutely.
Oof. Flickered a little bit over here, so a little nervous. So far, no more new questions.
All right.
All right, so we'll sign off. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good night.